Aristotle speaks of four causes, a material cause, a formal cause, an efficient cause, and a final cause. Thomas Aquinas, following this great philosopher, will bring these concepts into our Catholic theology. One day, if you want a philosophy lesson, we can look at all four of the causes. But today, thinking of Jesus' teaching on prayer, I thought it might be helpful to focus on just the last two causes. I think it'll help us understand something of this relationship and of our conversations, our prayer with God. Help us distinguish between the efficient cause and the final cause. So oftentimes when we ask why something happens, we kind of glob those two together. And the reasons why, what led to something happening, and the reasons why, like, where's this going? They're very different questions, but they almost like get confused sometimes in our conversations and our prayer. We find Jesus today with his apostles. They've caught him in prayer, and they want to pray also. And so they ask their guide, their teacher, to show them how to pray. And he doesn't put them into some kind of guided meditation, and he doesn't give them any great techniques. He introduces them to a conversation with their Father in heaven, our Father, who loves us. That prayer is primarily relationship, not technique, not emotion, not meditation, not contemplation. The prayer is primarily relationship. And how we come to that relationship, how we honor and live that relationship, becomes questions of prayer. So Jesus invites his disciples to enter into a conversation in this relationship with their Father. And in our conversations with God, as we've learned to pray, very often, I think, are the topics of our conversation are why questions and their can I have questions. And those fit into the Our Father, and they fit into the relationship between father and child, especially for young children, right? That's about all the questions are. The conversation is can I have, 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 and why? Sometimes they mix them up a little bit, right? But as we grow older and more deep in our relationship, more mature in our own ability to bring something of ourselves in this relationship, the conversations might shift, and we might ask our Father some advice on a life partner that seems to be becoming a reality in our lives. Maybe ask some advice on investing, or ask some advice on career, ask some deeper or more personal questions than just why and how much. But even in these why questions that we ask, I think we oftentimes mix together the efficient cause and the final cause. When we want to know why something happened, like what led to it happening, we don't really need to ask God. We can look to science, we can investigate. An old example, and I apologize to younger viewers who don't connect as well with September 11th, 2001, with 9/11. Many people asked why. The cause was that a handful of men chose to learn how to fly airplanes, and then they hijacked some airplanes and they tried to fly them into buildings, and 3 of them were successful. It was other people's choices. Maybe you can even look deeper into history and causes and motivations. But almost all of these are things that God told us not to do. These aren't God's choices to fly airplanes into buildings. The why, how did it happen? You can look to government regulation, you can look to visa policy, you can look to pilot training policies, you can look to airline policies. Many of these things changed after that day. But those aren't the questions we asked. When we asked why, we meant what for? Where does this go? Where does this lead? And those are very important God questions. I remember just months after this fateful day, people wandering around the country with I Heart New York City t-shirts. Would have been unthinkable that anybody in Texas would have had an I Heart New York City t-shirt on. But we did. And somehow, in spite of the evil that underlay this attack, good prevailed, and men and women with bravery and courage and hearts the size of New York went running up into burning buildings to help their brothers and sisters. And we saw blood banks across the country overflowing with those who wanted to do something, to love, to give, to support, to help. The ultimate why, even of September 11th, was love. We ask why we get sick. As it turns out, cancer usually comes from too much exposure to toxins and carcinogens. Ways in which we have hurt our environment and been careless with our bodies. All of which God would have us do differently. He probably isn't the author of cancer. But if you ask why I have cancer, the answers could be any number of beautiful and meaningful and powerful things. These questions are the questions of prayer. These are the questions we ask in a relationship with our God. We might say the words of the Our Father, but the sentiments of our heart go to those final causes that we are still building, that we're still creating with our
Mi vida es búsqueda y encuentro.